Thank you, Madam President. Today's bill and act expanding paid sick days in the state is something I'm very excited and proud to bring out today. It passed the House, as you just heard, and this is legislation that since I first joined the legislature in 2019, I've been working on the expansion of paid sick days. For me, we were a state that went first in the nation on approving paid sick days, and that happened in 2011, but it was very limited. It was limited to only about 12% of the employees in our state. And it took a long time, but I'm very proud that we've gotten to the point today where through this legislation, we will now be expanding paid sick days to every worker in the state of Connecticut. And I think that we all learned, especially recently from the pandemic, how important it is for employees to have the ability to stay home when they are sick or where somebody who they love is sick. And it's critical not just for the employee, but it's critical for public health. And that's all been our experience in recent years. So I'm very proud to bring this out and very pleased to also say that I really appreciate the efforts of everyone involved, from the governor's office to leadership of the House and leadership of the Senate, and my good chair in the House, my co-chair, Manny Sanchez, our representative there. So it's been a very exciting time for us, and it's always exciting to lead on a bill that we're taking up today for final passage. I would like to describe the bill briefly. It covers all employees, but it does so in a phase-in approach that would have us move to 25 employees or more would be included, and starting in January 2025. Those with employers with 11 employees or more in 2026, and then those with 1 employee or more in 2027. There is an exemption for seasonal employees and certain other union construction workers and their employers. One of the great things that we do in this bill is we broaden the definition of family, and this mirrors the definition that we adopted in the Paid Family Medical Leave Program. It's something that other states are doing today, and I'm very proud that we'll be able to do it here in Connecticut, in recognition of the fact that there are many families that rely on relationships other than the traditional nuclear family relationships. It increases the rate at which employees accrue the leave, also matching other recent state laws in other states. And it broadens the reasons that employees may use the leave, including, for instance, if there was a public emergency, something also that we have experienced recently. This bill will help part-timers to accrue and be able to use paid sick days more quickly than it was under the previous bill. Under the statute, it was you had to work for 650 hours. Now this will be defined as working for 120 days. And so there are many ways in which this is an improvement for our state's workers. Additionally, in recognition of the fact that most employers have gone to paid time off, and in recognition of that, employees are often allowed to use that paid time off for without any documentation of being sick, and this bill mirrors that practice, so there will be no required documentation and no advance notice to use the sick leave provided in this bill. Also, I want to be clear that there's very clearly laid out in this bill that employers who already offer the same amount of paid sick time, and provided that you can use it for the same reasons, under the same conditions, that certainly will fulfill their obligation. And obviously there's also no prohibition for an employer to offer more than what is provided in this legislation. The legislation provides for a poster to be, a model poster to be developed by the Department of Labor that employers can post. They are responsible for notification of employees, including in the event of an employers being in a remote work situation. There's a provision for electronic notification. Finally, one of the important aspects of this bill is to create a task force that will study the possibility of providing a tax credit to employers, which will recognize the cost to employers with 5 employees or fewer. And that task force will be charged with making recommendations prior to the next legislative session. The effective date of this legislation is January 1st, 2025. It's a great bill and a great advance for the state of Connecticut, so I'm excited that we're taking it up here today. Thank you.